So hi, I'm Grace Kier. I'm a rising senior at the College of William & Mary in Williamsburg, Virginia, and there I study Russian and post-Soviet studies as well as government. So last fall, I was studying at MGIMO in Moscow, and while there, I was interning at the Kier Center, which is a Russian think tank. And my boss there asked me to start working on nonproliferation issues, and I knew almost nothing about the topic, so I had a quick learning curve that I had to get over. And while there, I was researching actually a lot of the work that Sarah Bidgood and Dr. Potter had done at CNS, obviously. And so I started looking more at CNS and realized its international reputation, and then I found out that they had a summer internship program, and it was just a really natural next step. And then when I was offered the internship, it was really natural that I would take it. Obviously, the main responsibility every day is we have a lecture that we are always expected to attend, and they're always super interesting about every topic you can imagine related to nonproliferation. So everything from export controls to the specific policies of different countries, to, I'm trying to think what else, history lectures. So that's the main part of every day. And then other hours, I'm working on different research projects for my supervisor or independent research. I have a podcast now, and so I work on that as well. And right now I'm doing a really interesting project about the DPRK operating in Russia with some of the researchers in DC. So I have a podcast now called Big Nuke Energy that I created with two other interns, Sam and Ariel. And it's about young women and nonproliferation. And so we just started because we were talking about how we felt like we didn't really have an outlet to discuss those specific issues that face young women and nonproliferation. And since then, we've already recorded 6 or 7 episodes, and we interview our fellow interns, some of the GRAs at the graduate research assistants at MISS, and some of the female employees at CNS as well. So we've already interviewed Sarah Bidgood, Grace Liu, Ann Pellegrino, and we have plans for more. This coming year, I'm going to be writing a senior honors thesis at William & Mary with a professor there named Jeffrey Kaplow. And I'm going to be writing about the death of arms control, or the lack thereof, hopefully the lack thereof. But basically, when I was in Moscow, President Trump announced we were leaving the INF Treaty, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty. And I was really interested by the range of responses I saw to his announcement. Some saying this was absolutely the right move, some different scholars from all different fields saying, this was absolutely the wrong move. And I was really fascinated by the difference in responses. And so my professor really encouraged me to abstract that out further and to look at arms control and the state of arms control now. And so I'm looking specifically at US-Russia, but just more broadly arms control and nuclear treaties. Normally the first hour and a half, 2 hours of every day are spent just working on personal projects or personal research projects or tasks for our supervisors or people in DC. And then normally at 10, we have a lecture with, like I said, any of the different researchers at CNS, sometimes from DC. Sometimes we have special guests, like we've met with the former Undersecretary Tom Countryman. Later this week, we're meeting with Jerry Brown, the former governor of California. And then normally we have lunch, and then in the afternoon, sometimes we have a second lecture, and sometimes we just research the rest of the day. It's been really exciting because when I was at Kier Center, I had the chance to meet some of the better-known Russian experts in the field, which was really fascinating and wonderful to hear their opinions. But I was reading about a lot of these American experts, and I never thought I would really get to meet them, and now, of course, I have. And they've been really welcoming to the views that we have, and I think that as an intern group, we've been good at voicing, new ideas, which in nonproliferation is so important because this field affects literally everyone. You can't escape a nuclear attack if it comes for you. And so I think it's really important that we do have younger generations, like the GRAs and the interns, who are advocating and saying we need new voices in the room. And I think it's been positive and inspiring to hear some of the more receptive opinions to those ideas. I think the best part has been the podcast and getting to develop that, but also getting to develop that with people who are my colleagues, but also I would consider friends. And just getting to meet the other interns has been really wonderful. It's a really inspiring group of people to work with, and I think we're generally very supportive of one another, and it's exciting to see the research my colleagues are doing and also get to spend time with them when we're not at work. I feel like when I came to Kier Center, like I said, I had no knowledge of nonproliferation. And then when I left Kier Center, I thought I knew things about nonproliferation until day one at CNS. But now I think, I'm certainly not an expert, but I feel like I know a lot more about the field and I can engage and ask better questions in a way that I couldn't before, just because I have the information and the tools to help me do so. And I think I've definitely grown as a researcher, and I've grown as, I guess I've grown better at working in groups and working on teams, especially, like I said, with the podcast. Like, it's solidly a team effort, and several of the other interns help us with art and editing and music. And so I think it's been a really positive experience that helps me work in a team. So I really, really want a field where I can use my Russian abilities, which are, sometimes better, sometimes worse, but I really want to do something with Russian. And I think I'm definitely going to consider working in nonproliferation in the future. I'm still applying to different fellowships for the coming year after I graduate, but I'm hoping to perhaps pursue something with arms control and security, but also that I can use my Russian. Monterey is beautiful, and the number one thing about it that's been wonderful while I'm here is it's not insanely hot like the rest of the country. So I go to school in Tidewater, Virginia, which is super hot and super humid. I've spent summers in DC, super hot, super humid, and so the weather is beautiful. Sometimes it's a little chilly, but you can go to the beach, you can go to Carmel. I'm trying to think what else. I like just to have relaxed Sundays with friends at coffee shops. And it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful place to spend the summer. So I think this program is a really, really excellent way, like I said, to have, crash course almost quite literally in nonproliferation and just every topic in nonproliferation. And if you're at all interested in solving or trying to solve this problem, I think this program is a really good way to do that. I think also it's a really good way to meet people who, like I said, are, and of course, we can't predict the group for next summer or the following summer, but I think it's been a really wonderful experience meeting people who I can have really serious conversations with about our work topics, but then also who I can count on as friends. And so I think it's an exciting place to be.